What's quack-a-lacking, guys? I'm a Dark Quack here and welcome back to another investment video on the channel. So we're going to be having a little look at the player of the month that's going to be released tomorrow, and we're going to see if there's any kind of last minute investments we could do. We're going to try and guess what they could potentially include, find out what's already inflated that we should avoid, and all of those kind of basics. So as you probably know, the shortlist it's basically down to two players. We've got Aguero and we've got Harry Kane. Now there are some leaked photos going around of a Player of the Month award with Harry Kane's name on it. Whether you believe it or not, it's completely up to you guys. I think it could be true, but we're not going to base it on fact or anything. We're still going to cover all angles and all bases in this video here. So we're going to start off with Aguero here. So the first card we've got up here is just a Sergio Aguero card. They're not going to include his inform. That's just ridiculous. There's not enough on the market. The price is too expensive. It's just not going to happen. But his base gold card, it isn't impossible that that is needed. If that's not needed, then we could also think of other players from Man City. So we've got the likes of De Bruyne in here. Again, he's a very expensive, very high-rated card. I can't see the investments in him particularly being great. But thinking of other players, the likes of Otamendi, who is Man City but also Argentinian. Bernardo Silva, who's a high-rated right mid. You've got Sterling, who's an 82 rated. You've got Company, all kinds of options if you think a Man City team could be needed. We've also got his nationality. So obviously we're not going to get Messi again, but it's Argentinian. So if we're thinking high rating, we could be thinking of players as big as the likes of Higuain. 90-odd rated, 100k. If that's all you need, then you could be golden. They're kind of riskier investments right now, but with weekend league rewards dropping any time now, picking up the players that you think might be used, you can actually save a lot of money on and make your money back if we're wrong anyway, as long as we're choosing routes that other people aren't talking about, like the Higuain for an example, or other 84 plus rated Argentinians that haven't potentially got hyped up and bumped in price quite as much. If we're looking at his past next, we're going to come down the obvious routes here. The only two teams he's played for previously is Atletico Madrid. So we've got Griezmann as the face here. Again, we're not going to pick up Griezmann, but we could be going for big players there. We've got the likes of Godin, who's a huge rated, all black. And then we've got all kinds of 82s to 84 rated, Koke being one of them that we can opt to choose. Then we've got his other club, which is Independiente. Probably pronounced that horribly, but it's from the Premier Division, and we have a few options there. The money here is going to be hard to get. They don't have a load of gold players. They've got enough, but the silver players as well, if you need multiple ones, could be what pumps his price up that little bit more. Next, out on the left here, you can probably see we've got a Nautovic. So, while I put my hat back on, Nautovic, the reason we got him here is because he is a brand new team of the season, and the team of the week, sorry. You might need a Premier League Team of the Week card, and if you do, Arnautovic, especially during the Weekend League rewards tonight, is going to be extremely affordable, and we're going to have yet another base covered. All of these investment tips, they could be great, but if we're picking them up tonight when rewards drop, and if prices do can't even speak, if prices do drop like they normally do, then we should be guaranteed to at least break even with them anyway. Moving on, we've got the teams he played against in the month. We've got Chelsea, we've got Palace, Liverpool and Watford. So they're the four fixtures Man City had. Picking up decent rated players from these clubs, you can't go wrong with again. They also had a match against West Brom, which was in the League Cup. Probably not going to be included, but it doesn't hurt to mention it at this stage. Now, the last thing we're going to look at here, and this is something that nobody's talked about, and I feel there could be a potential for it, is the Champions League group that he is in. I know the Player of the Month award has nothing to do with the Champions League, but why wouldn't they use it as a possible fixture? They could even use international games, but for this route, we're going to go down this. So we've got Feyenoord, we've got Shakhtar, and we've got Napoli. Picking up players from these clubs, again, for discard values or very cheap, we're not going to have any kind of a risk, and if they're needed, it's going to pay off massively. One thing to keep in mind, though, if we're picking up 80 rated players that are just flooding the market at the moment, we can't expect them to rise in price very much. And the reason for this is, if it's Aguero who wins the Player of the Month award, or if it's Harry Kane, the amount of people that complete it aren't going to be absolutely phenomenal. There's going to be more of these cards available than the amount of people completing the Player of the Month awards. So we want to be smart with our investments. We want to pick up the rarer cards. So sometimes it's going to be silver cards, bronze cards even. Sometimes it's going to be inform, special cards, even just high-rated cards. Just be smart with the investments and understand that the demand has to overtake supply almost to see a significant price increase. Anyway, that wraps up Aguero. That is 1 out of the 2 done, and we'll move straight on to Harry Kane now. So, Harry Kane, first off, we've got his card, just like we had with Aguero. Probably not going to need his inform, but his gold card will do the trick. We've also got Dele Alli. So what if they just say, well, we need a Spurs English player, striker. Fine, we'll put Ali in, we'll pump him up the striker, he'll do the job. It's 2 options. Again, I think they're quite inflated at the moment. I personally wouldn't invest in them, but we've got to mention it anyway. Then we'll move straight on to his previous clubs. Well, we'll mention the nationality. Obviously, the English nationality, you've got it here with Kane and Ali. You've got tons of other options. Just keep that in mind as well. Which high-rated cards? The likes of Sturridge, he's 82 rated, I think, this year. Not too expensive. We have got options for it. His previous clubs. So he hasn't actually played, well, he hasn't played for a previous club that he's belonged to. He's been on loan to them all. So you've got Leicester, you've got Norwich, and you've also got Millwall. He also played for Leyton Orient, but they are down in a lower division now than FIFA covers, so we can't include them here. If we're going for Leicester players, we've got obvious choices. Mahrez is fairly cheap and a decent rating as well. If we're picking up the lower rated ones again, you're probably not going to find yourself in profit. Norwich, we've got more options because they don't have quite as many gold players. But then when we get onto the likes of Millwall, I don't even know if they have any gold players, maybe 1 or 2 at the very most. So the silver players here could be worth having a look at. I've got a huge feeling they're already massively inflated, and that feeling would be absolutely perfect. So if you're picking these guys up, bid, snipe, and just hope for some luck with them. We then move on to the games that he had in the month. So we have got Swansea, we have got Huddersfield, Everton, and West Ham. Same logic as Aguero, decent rating players for as cheap as possible. And then we've also got their League Cup game, which against Barnsley. I can't see them including it, but we're going to mention it anyway just to cover all bases. We've got the Fabianski in goal here. Again, it's just another BPL inform. We might not need a BPL inform. They could use something like, well, Kane's in a group in the Champions League with Real Madrid. There's Borussia Dortmund in there. And the other team that's in it, I think it's APL, it's like a Greek team. They're not in FIFA from what I could see anyway. Could be wrong. So it's only really Dortmund and Real Madrid. But we've got great options. They're 2 massive teams. If they go down this route and we've got some of the better rated players from these clubs, we could make an absolute fortune, especially because Dortmund has just been in the marquee matchups as well. So that's something else to consider. The very last thing we've got here is a one to watch Sanchez. Will they include a special card from the Premier League? If they include a special card, Sanchez covers that ground and he plays for Spurs. We've got options. We've got tons of options, even this late into investing. Half of the doors have been closed because people have bought early, which you should. Prices are inflated and we don't want to be touching them. But if you can think outside the box, find some different routes, different suggestions like the Champions Leagues here, like the previous clubs, if we're sniping, bidding on them, whatever we want to do, we still have room to potentially make some profit off this. Screw the hat. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy the video and you're finding it all useful, make sure you drop a like. Comment down below if I've missed any obvious ideas out or you've got something different that we could use. I'll leave my Twitter in the description, and we've also got a Discord app that you guys can join for all trading and investment kind of talk and everything. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.